So the University of Southern California is in the midst of a crisis with their fraternities. About 8 fraternities have disaffiliated from the university because of new rules that were intended to, in the administration's opinion, solve problems like sexual assault and hazing. This is in response to a pretty massive problem they had last year, where they had a pretty major rape at a fraternity on campus. Absolutely horrible situation. And in response, over the summer, they issued a new set of rules and gave the fraternities a deadline for compliance and adoption of these new rules. Otherwise, they would impose some sanctions on these fraternities. And so far, 8 fraternities have said, we're out. Now, in fairness, I agree with the fraternities that left. I mean, why would you stay when the university doesn't want anything of you rather than to be less bad? This is the problem with the less bad, overly punitive approach to correcting behavior. This idea that all fraternities are worthy of suffering the consequences of one chapter's indiscretions and possibly one person's indiscretions is completely exaggerated. It's overly punitive. And these measures punish fraternities, punish the good ones who have been upstanding and doing the right things. They have to, because of the infractions of a few, pay the consequences of a culture that may not even be a part of their life on campus. Listen to some of the rules. Listen to some of the things that the University of Southern California, USC, introduced into Greek life beginning this fall. These are quote-unquote safety measures. They include the following. Posting security guards at parties, including at stairwells and at hallways leading to bedrooms. So I can imagine a scenario where there's security at the front door, there's security guards at the bottom of the stairs, there's security, or at the entrance of the hallway, there's security guards at the top of the stairway into all the bedrooms. So you have 3 different points where a chapter has to hire security guards. They have to purchase scanners to screen for fake IDs. They want them to distribute wristbands for those older than 21. There's a ban on all kegs, no kegs at any fraternity party. And that before and after each event, there had to be some sexual violence risk training before every party and after every party. Now, the intention behind these is to make the campus more safe. And granted, there are some reckless men in some chapters who use the access to intoxicated women to take advantage of them. There's also some independents who come to fraternity parties because they know that they can get easy access to intoxicated women, and those sorts of predators who may not even be in the fraternity chapter are at the parties. And so the fraternity has to police these independent people, these non-fraternity members at their parties, who are in many cases the ones perpetrating the problems themselves, but the university doesn't have a way to help fraternities distinguish between those members and those guests. But be that as it may, this is an overly punitive approach. And when the fraternity is disaffiliated, to me, it makes complete sense. Why would you stay on campus with these sorts of rules? Why would you submit to having to purchase a fake ID scanner? And really what it says is that the university doesn't believe that these men can be great. They don't believe that these men can potentially rise to a higher standard because they're not inviting them to be great men. Instead, they just want them to be less bad. If you want men to be great, you have to appeal to their better natures. You have to invite them to be outstanding and excellent and virtuous. And that's not happening. What's happening is the invitation to be less bad. And if you want men to be less bad, that's all they're going to be. And the men on the campus of USC in Greek life deserve better. They deserve better from the administration to invite them to be the great men that they want to be, to invite them to live up to the standards and virtues that are embedded internally into their own fraternities. And so instead of being overly punitive, I'd recommend that they invite them to be heroic. Right? Invite these men to use their power and their presence and their creativity regarding their social events to be a benefit to the women on the campus. And why can't they draw these students into an imagination of what it looks like to have a social event, to have a party that actually benefits the people that are there, where women are categorically better off because they attended the party than they were had they not attended the party at all. What does that look like? And what does it look like to invite men to imagine a new way of having fun and enjoyment and celebration by making their events the kind of places where not only women feel safe, they're actually improved by the experience of being at their fraternities events. To me, that's a much better approach than introducing more rules and regulations and inviting men to be less bad. And I am fully confident, because I've seen this before, I've spoken on different campuses, that if you invite men to be great, they'll actually step up and be great. And I believe that we should, for once, give that a shot rather than introducing these rules that communicate we've just given up on the possibility that they can be great men. So invite them to be heroic about it. Invite them to use their power, their presence, their creativity, and their ingenuity and their energy to be a net benefit to their brothers and those on their campus.